Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important topic of reactive forms in Angular, where we will see what is form group. So this session is just mainly for the introduction of form group, because I'm sure you might have encountered various scenarios in your projects where the developers are utilizing the form group, right? So in today's session, we will figure out all the theoretical things that are very important for us to understand what is form group. Okay, prior to this session we covered the form control, right, where we explored all the examples as well, individual example for each topic. So this session is in the continuation of the same, where we will be figuring out what is form control, and we will try to understand all the required questions like what is form group, why do we need form group, why does form group what does form group contain, and also the role of the form group with their data structure. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to understand the concept of form group. But prior to that, you should know what is form control, what is reactive form, because these are the things that we will be utilizing in it. Okay, all right. And for the detailed content, like, you can also refer the Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find more than 3000 plus free resources, which is available in both Hindi as well as English language. So as per your convenience, you can go through it. Okay, all right. So now you can see we are in this HTML file where I have prepared some notes for you. So I'm sure some of you are preparing for interviews or examination. So these notes will help you to answer your question in interviews and exams also, because we have just note down all those pointers that are important for us to understand as a theoretical term. Okay, so let's see what we have today. So here I have mentioned one main heading, that is Angular course by Sharmit, then reactive form in Angular, form group introduction. So let's start with the question itself. What is form group? So if you are in an interview and someone asks you what is form group, then you can simply use these statements to explain it. Now what these statements say? It says form group represent a collection of multiple form field. Okay, so it is just nothing but a collection of multiple form fields, and that is why we are calling it as a group, right? So from its name, it indicates that it is a collection of multiple form field, and it group related form control into one logical unit. So suppose there is a form where we have multiple input field, but they have some correlation in between them. So in that case, we will keep all those input fields into one logical unit, and that thing can create one group, that is form group. Okay, because it defines the structure of the form data. So form group is nothing but a way through which we can define the structure of the data, and it is mainly used to create the complete form, because in complete form we have multiple fields, right? And in multiple field we have some fields which have some correlations. So form group, what form group will do here, in that situation, form group will combine all those correlated input field into one logical unit, and that unit is called as form group. Clear? So if someone asks you what is form group, so you can just simply say these things, that form group represent a collection of multiple form field, it group related form controls into one logical unit, and it defines the structure of the form data, because it is mainly used to create the complete form. Okay, now let's take the real world example. So here you can see a registration form with name, email and password together is one form group. Why? Because you can see name, email and password, these are all personal detail, right, of the user. So we can say that yes, these are the information that comes under a personal information or contact information. So in that case, we will keep all these three things into one single group, and that group is defined as a form group. Clear? Fine. So now we have the understanding like what is form group. Now the next question comes, why do we need it? Because we have form, like previously we were using the form control and it was working as expected, right? Then why there is a need of form group? Because form group, in case of form control, it manages only the one input field. If you remember whatever example we have covered previously, there we were just using the form control, and that form control allows us to manage the data only for the one single input field. Okay, but we all know that in real world application, the form contain multiple input field, right? So in that situation, how we will utilize form control? There is a drawback, right? Because in form control, it can manage data properly, but only for the one single input field. But in real world scenarios, when we are working with large forms where we have multiple fields, there we will not be able to manage it with the help of form control. Okay. So in that situation, form group help us to manage all those fields together. Okay, so there we will utilize the form group to manage all the fields together. Okay, because it allows us to validate and submit the entire form at once. Okay, so form group will help us to manage the data, to validate the data, to submit the data at one go. So if suppose we have a form where we have 20 fields, so if you have utilized the form group, then it will allow us to do the proper validation for all the fields at one go. Okay, so let's take the simple example. So you can consider that if someone asks you why do we need a form group, so you can explain that when a form has many fields, then in that case form group keeps everything organized. That is the only difference, or you can say that is the only need of the form group. Now the next question comes, what does form group contain? If we are creating any form group, then what all things it can contain? So first thing is form control, because we know that inside a group we have multiple fields, right? We are just creating the group. So in that group we have multiple input fields, and that input fields will be managed by form control itself. Okay, and that thing we already know because we have already covered that example. So here we are just using one form group that will contain all those input field, and those input field will be managed by the form control. Second thing is form group. So for nested groups, like when you know about the nested if, nested loop, right? Similarly, we also have nested groups. So in that situation, form group will help us, you will find form group inside another form group. Okay, so this is the second thing that you might see inside a form group. And the third thing is form array. Although we have not covered form array yet, but no worries, like this is something that we will be learning in the upcoming sessions. So for now, just keep in mind that it contains form dynamic list of the fields. Okay, fine. And if we take the real world example, so you can see, suppose we have form profile form where we have personal information form group, address information form group, and a form skills form array. So this is a complete form where we have a form group for these all things. Okay, now let's talk about the role of form group in a form. Okay, because we understand the need, but actually what is the role of form group? So the main role of form group in a form is to collect the values from the all input fields, then to track overall validity of the form, and controls form state such as enable, disable, or reset. So overall we can say that it acts as a main container for our reactive form. Okay, now we will conclude this session by just looking at the form data structure, because once we have created the form group, we should know about its data structure, right? So form group value is always an object, so it keeps the data as an object, where each key will represent a form field name and each value will represent the user input. So this thing you should know, because when someone asks you in an interview, like they will ask you what kind of data you will get in from the form group. So you can explain that it stores the data as an object where we have one input field, one key represent the form field and another one represent the user input. Okay, so yeah. And if we take the example, so you can see that a field application form converted into structured data. So yes, that is also a statement that will answer your question. like form group data structure. Clear? So yeah, these are the all things that I would like to share with you all in this particular session. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.